let's talk about CPQ. So we've talked about being able to connect to other APIs, other data services. And side note, one of the places I think this is going to be really important as of these past few months is the ability to connect to AI services as well. So if you are investing in an AI data service for your company, something that's trained on your data, that's secure, something like a Scale AI, or AWS just announced Bedrock, and you want to be able to go query for some of that data, pull that in. Skuid is set up for that so that you can go connect to whatever kind of data service you need and pull that into your Skuid pages. And so here what we're doing, and this came from us talking with Connor and the folks at Aptitude 8 about a use case that would be helpful. And it was this idea of a CPQ, and you might have your product list in HubSpot, or maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's in an ERP. Now we had a ServiceNow service set up, and so we pulled in the ServiceNow API to get our list of products. So we've got a deal here. I'm going to launch our CPQ widget here, and her name's on the...
I'm gonna get excited, and then we'll go through this, right? But I think the thing that we get really hyped about when you show this is, so often we have conversations with customers, and the problem they come to us with is like, I need to integrate ServiceNow and HubSpot. And you're like, what do you actually need to do? And they're like, well, what I need to do is I have to get all the ServiceNow data in here so that I can like show the right products, because all of those happen in ServiceNow, and I'm trying to like get them in the right order. And that could be like insert ERP, billing system, anything under the sun here, right? It's all kind of the same problem and the same use case. And so this like bypasses, in my opinion, that whole integration component of like, I don't need to go through all of the headache of really firmly integrating ServiceNow and HubSpot, because I can query ServiceNow's data sets in here, and I'm solving for the actual core problem, which isn't an integration problem. It's like a unification and usability problem.
You nailed it. I mean, and this is something that we've been working through for the past decade at Skuid, is don't put everything in an integration or an automation box, because a lot of the time what you're talking about is simply needing to be able to see data. Integration, which uses server-side power, if you're hosted on AWS, it could potentially use transactions. So you need to be mindful of that. And so there are going to be times when you want it to be on the server side, when you want that deep integration. But a lot of the time, you just need the user to be able to see the data and be able to see it in context. So I think it's a great distinction. I'm going to steal that, Connor, and we'll use it for conversations. The difference between integration and what you called unification. I think that's a really helpful distinction there. So let's look at this here. So yeah, we're bringing in products from ServiceNow, and the use case that y'all had talked about was, you might actually have a deeper list of products somewhere else, and you only want to create one kind of in HubSpot, or you only want to create a line item if it doesn't exist already. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. So we've got our list of products, and I'm connecting directly to that API. I'm using the user's permission, and I've got this in a Skuid table. We're combining a couple of different Skuid components here. So the table component lets us take a list of records and iterate over those rows. We can put buttons to make it actionable. We can search on it as well. So if I want to add from our rug products to this, I can do that. So let's go ahead and let's add these rugs to this quote. I can also create a new product and save back to ServiceNow. So if I have the right permissions, depending on what I'm doing, maybe if I want to create a new product bundle or something like that, I can save back to that API because I have those user permissions in here. So I'm adding these rugs to our quote. We can also get a different view if we want. So the table view is really, really powerful, but we also have something called a deck component. So if you want more of this kind of grid view with cards like this, you can get contextual information in there, images, buttons, so on and so forth. That can be useful in a lot of different applications, but we're still interacting with the same data. So without getting too technical, the point is that we've got the same data layer underneath. We've got a list of products, and here we're showing it in a table, and here we're showing it in some cards in a deck. Then I'm going to hit the next button, and that next button, that's part of what we call a wizard component that lets you move the user through a step-by-step process. So we talked about kind of guiding users so that they do things in the right order and they feel helped in that process. And we're able to see that progress there up at the top of the wizard. Then over here, we've got an option for add-ons. And so you had talked about having logic and rules as part of a CPQ. And Skuid has a lot of different places that we can add that logic. And here what we're doing is we can go look to see add-ons, and we're using the data that exists in ServiceNow to see, do any of these have a parent product? And so RugPad has a parent product of Zigzag Rug. And so we can see here that shows up as a child product that we can add to our quote here. So we're building in that logic into the CPQ itself. And this one doesn't actually have any child products as well. So we can be very smart about what data we're bringing in and have it, correspond to the business logic, to the rules that you want to have in place. So we're adding these products. Let's go ahead and move on through to the next step. This is a good UX practice here, is to have that summary page at the end so the user understands what they're actually pushing through here. And, they can then go back if they want. They can make changes here if they want. We can change the quantity for some of these. And then we have this final action to save the line items to HubSpot. This is basically going to take that data that we're getting from ServiceNow, and now it's going to go and create line items on the HubSpot deal here. So let's go ahead and do that. It's saving those. And even that uses the action framework to let the user know, hey, here's what's happening. You don't have to click save multiple times. And then we can go ahead and hit save or exit out of that. We'll hit refresh. And now when we go, we should be able to go see the line items. There they are. They've been added to this detail in HubSpot CRM.